work.
Oh my God.
Because once the preview works, then I can press start streaming.
Mr. Poonsauce.
Okay.
You know.
Are we on? And we're on. Hello. Welcome.
Things you should be doing ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, I did kind of do it ahead of time. It was just.
Yeah, we got caught up catching up and talking.
You know.
Yeah.
You get caught up in the moment.
It's one of those things to where you realize, okay, I got this set up and perfectly fine. It's going to start correctly. And then you press start stream. And you're like, why isn't it working? I did everything I did last time. Shit.
But that one thing.
I just had to refresh the page.
It's always that one thing.
It's always that one thing.
Isn't that what Curly says from City Slickers? Just that one thing.
But according to Addy Tooney, we do have live video and audio, so that is a good start.
Well, nice.
Yeah, you can start somewhere, I guess, and that's the correct way to start, I guess.
Right?
So welcome, everybody. Welcome to another episode of What's the News? I'm one of your hosts. I'm Poonsauce, if you don't know me already. And to my right. No, left. I think. No, right, left, yeah.
That side.
I didn't put the correct socks on today to tell me which is left and right. So That's where I'm working on right now. But got my co-host, Mr. Sean Typhon Yang, the Hippie. And of course, we got the man himself. One of the people I look up to in advocacy. He's a big part of the VTA. He's a big part of the Ohio Vapor Trade Association. We are here with Mr. James Jarvis. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, guys.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm still on an adrenaline high from yesterday.
Yeah, that's what we're going to touch on a little bit today, because it's one of those things to where I'll kind of go with what I've been experiencing these past few weeks. I've kind of been getting really crazy burnt out with things, and kind of being active on Twitter, doing these shows, trying to inform people, try to have the correct information. Just when you try to have it take over your life, you lose motivation for everything. It's like you get depressed because you get so emotionally involved in it, and then it was a big mess. But So through the past few weeks, I've been kind of going through an emotional freaking roller coaster with myself. But there's one thing that I saw yesterday that kind of put me back on track and put me in the right direction. And that after I seen the response that happened at the Ohio rally yesterday, I was blown away by how many people showed up. The unification of so many people, so many vapors out there that came together for a common purpose, a common goal. And I'm back. I'm fired up again, and I'm ready to do this shit. I'm ready to get back on. It just pumps you up. Gets the adrenaline pumping, man. I'm telling you. It's just seeing all those pictures, seeing Dylan and Taylor there, that was awesome. They drove all the way from, I forgot what state they're in again. And just
Delaware, wasn't it?
I think they're in Delaware. That's what it is.
Delaware. No, Maryland. They're right there.
No, yeah, Maryland. That's what, one of those two. It was really cool. Yeah, Liv, I know. I forgot to give you the links for James and the Ohio stuff. So
I asked Taylor. So when I talked to our lobbyist about a month and a half ago about setting up this rally, because we were to the point where we didn't have anything on the table. We just had this tax, and we have T21 starting in a couple weeks, and the consumers were feeling beat down because everything they're seeing in the media. The members were kind of, like you said, everybody was just kind of feeling beaten to death because, it's just, you seeing a lot of doom and gloom because we're not hearing anything good. We're all hearing this bunch of misinformation and fake news, hashtag fake news. And so we were talking about it, and I said, we really should, maybe it's time for us to do a rally. And our lobbyist, too, is amazing, and she's been with us for 5.5 years. And she said, maybe it's time. She said, do you think you can get 100 people? I said, well, if we don't, then we need to hang up our vapors and close our doors, because 100 people with, over 180 members in our association, between liquid manufacturers and store owners, both inside the state and out, you figure it shouldn't be a problem, right? And then as many consumers as we all touch. I said, what, I'll take that challenge. She goes, well, I can tell you right now, if you don't get 100 guaranteed, we're not doing it. She goes, I don't care if it's the morning up, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to put you guys in that position.
How many people did you guys get?
Last time we had counted was over 400.
That is awesome.
Industry showed up, and it wasn't just Ohio, man. We had OPMH, and we had Vape Stockroom, and we had RD in the group, all from Kentucky. We had Danny Guile, from Kentucky, from Tennessee. Karen Moore from Tennessee. We had John Glauser sent down 3 or 4 people from New York. Even with all the crap they're dealing with right now, they were down. We had people from Chachi from Florida. You remember Florida Smoke Free came up and represented. He flew in, stayed 2 nights with us. We had people from every state, but boy, Ohio showed up. We had Jeff Kathman and Patty Kathman, who are from Cincy Vapors, and Jeff's one of our board members. They rented a bus and brought up themselves, their employees, consumers, and a few other business owners from Cincinnati. We had Rhonda and Randy Birch. Rhonda's one of our board members. She and her husband rented a bus and brought folks down to Cleveland. We had We had the Flavors United folks out of the Dayton area. They rented a bus, shut down their production facility for the day, and brought everybody over. And they also actually paid for a reception afterwards for the business owners and OHVTA to go by and just kind of chill and mingle a little bit. We had 2 separate buses of about 15 or 20 people from the Columbus area that all went and rented and brought their employees and customers. Then we had the Vapor House gang from the Dayton area. They had about 15 of them come over with buses. We had a busload, a large van load full from St. Clairsville, Ohio, which is southeast. They came up in force. And man, I don't think there was a shop open in Columbus yesterday. And there was quite a bit of us. I don't think there was one shop open.
And that's what it's one of those things to where it should be expected, and it's so good that you are able to see that kind of response from shop owners and business owners out there, because seeing them all come out, they're in there for the right reason. So
absolutely.
You see, like when you see some of these rallies where barely any people showed up. I know with the past couple of rallies, there's been a good amount of people to show up. It's so good to see that kind of thing, because seeing so many people get united, it just kind of gets you pumped up and everything. So a couple questions for you on this.
Sure.
What was the mentality of you guys when you planned this thing and when you got there? Like, I don't know, you got there probably pretty early before it even started, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I got there at 8:45 in the morning. We took quote unquote possession of the west side of the lawn at 9 a.m. And I literally walked up. I was by myself. I sat on the step and kind of looked around, and that's probably one of the that's the largest side they could give us. And I'm like, man, are we gonna fill this thing? I'm thinking, I'm still looking like we're gonna have like 250 people. I hope it's full. You know what I mean? I'm like, at least we can get the cement covered, because then you got the grassy area and stuff. And that was my thought at 8:45 in the morning. And then a couple other of the members got there. We set up the backdrop, and they set up the podium and had the sound system going, and people just started coming, one after another, one after another, one after another. I was like, this is really going to happen. This is really going to happen. And then about 10:30, which is about half an hour before we went live, the media showed up. Our local NBC, ABC, CBS affiliate, WOSU, which is like the college station, they were there. We had Spectrum News, they were there. We had the Dispatch there. We had a reporter from the Toledo Blade. We had somebody from the Dayton Daily News. We had somebody from the Cleveland area, somebody from the Cincinnati area. And they all had their little pods set up, and I was kind of looking, I was like, man, this is actually happening. I mean, this is like, holy crap, we're gonna make the news all over Ohio, and we're gonna show the passion and professionalism that this industry is. Because we had talked to the members, through our Facebook group, and said, hey, we got a couple rules. We do this. No vaping on the State House property. If you want to go out to the sidewalk and vape, once you're inside the property, no vaping.
That has to be like a standard for these kind of things.
Because we don't want anybody vaping on camera.
Yeah, you want to look professional.
No. Yeah, if you want to blow clouds, no. This is not about blowing clouds. This is about saving people's lives and changing them for the better. Mm-hmm. So that was one. And the other thing is, any sign that anybody brought, because we had some of our members that were making signs for everybody. I told them any sign that was brought in but I didn't get the pre-approved, they needed to show up to us. Because if they had any vulgarities or it was even remotely borderline of offending any of our politicians or anybody, they were going in the trash. We're not going to stand for it. This is going to be a professional rally. We're going to be respectful, and we're going to command respect from those around us. And that's exactly what we did. We had Taylor Cage from North American Nicotine talking about, nicotine and just what's been happening in the industry. We had Lindsay Stroud from the Heartland Institute just talking about policy. And then, we had the great Dr. Brad Rodu. That guy, if nobody can motivate you with the truth and kind of dispelling what's going on in the media, that guy is just a ball full of energy and knowledge. And, the cool thing about him is he got his DDS from Ohio State. He's a Buckeye through and through. And it was really funny when he took the mic from me. First thing he did was OH. And you heard the crowd go IL. And it was going to be out. It was going to be all right. But it's just fantastic, man. And I put a post up earlier today, and it's kind of resonated with me, and it's been shared around several times. I looked at two of the pictures that were taken this weekend. One was a panoramic of all 400 people with their signs. Thanks to a friend of mine named John Payne, just a great guy. And there's a picture of me introducing our board in front of the backdrop, but you can see the big columns and the steps of the State House. And my post was, no matter what happens from here on, nobody could ever take this away from me or this industry. The pride standing on those steps of the Ohio State House with the logos of OHVTA and VTA behind me, 400 plus people in front of me, united for one cause, protecting vapor. These are the voices for vaping. And that's how I felt.
That is awesome, because seeing that the morale of everybody there had to be just fired up and positive. There wasn't any kind of negative morale there. For the amount of people who showed up, you couldn't not be pumped up.
Oh man, I'm telling you, when I was giving the speech, my part of the speech, I just, I was talking to Tony Abood earlier tonight, and I said, man, nothing will ever replace the passion, the power, and the conviction that I had and felt during that 15 minutes that I was on there talking to that crowd. It felt like we were all in unison, and everybody was in tune. They were engaged, cheering, chanting. One of the local TV stations, they started their news piece with us chanting, "I vape, I vote," and they ended it with, "And these are what lawmakers are going to have to listen to as they look at this flavor ban that could be coming down the road." And they played, "I vape, I vote" again. I mean, it was just huge. And I know there was a couple buildings down, a friend of ours works in, said that they heard us chanting a couple blocks away, which is kind of cool. So just, you could not have not been pumped up after that yesterday. It was just, wow, oh wow. And it still feels the same way today.
With all the, Sean, do you have any questions to throw out?
Go ahead. Let this conversation roll.
With all the news stations being there, what was the response from the media with all this going on? I know, because a lot of media officials can kind of twist things around, especially they can seem like they're on your side a little bit while they're interviewing all that stuff, but then once it airs on national TV, then you're like, oh wait, this isn't, they're just chopped up everything to make it what they wanted. So what would you say the media response is to?
Well, the cool thing with us is, because a lot of those folks were from the Columbus area, and I have had past experiences with them. The one thing I've learned about the media is you find the ones that you can work well with, and you go into it knowing you're probably only going to get 25% of the story, and you're going to be the bad guy automatically just because you're on the public's bad side because of what's happening, and you get a third of the time or a quarter of the time to respond. So you've got to make your points very quick, very effective. And you find the ones that want to work with you, and you continue to build that relationship. And eventually they're going to give you a 50-50 or a 75-25, but it doesn't happen on your first time. And that's one thing that really bothers me sometimes with some of the vapors that are doing interviews. Just because you do one interview and, you only get a 30-second clip, lucky to get that because, they don't have to give us anything. But in order to get a full 20 minutes, if you're doing an interview or a standalone Q&A like we were doing yesterday for 5 minutes, in order to get to that part and have them want to air your side of the story, 9 times out of 10 you've had to build that relationship and earn that respect from them to move forward. So I've had a decent relationship with two of the State House reps from our local TV stations. The one came up to me and said, James, we're going to open right at noon with what's going on here, or 11 o'clock with what's going on here at the State House. We're going to bust right into the TV. I'm going to air this live. Is that okay with you? I said, absolutely. So we're going to make it a teaser for what's coming up at noon, right? Because they have a noon broadcast. And he said, hey, when you're done, can I get you for about 2 minutes just to do an interview while the rally's still going? I said, I can't do that. I said, can I wait till it's over? He said, absolutely, man. He goes, anything you need from me, let me know. And then I had another one that wanted to talk. I said, well, and I've got Jason first. I'll come to you second. And then the other one said they wanted to catch up. So, and I kind of had a plan for about 20 minutes after the rally. And it was just great. It was a great feeling, But again, you have to know your audience, know your crowd, and you have to have a relationship with them, and you have to have talking points already in your heads. If a question comes up, you've got to have an answer for another question and kind of steer it that way. And that's just the one thing I've learned in the last couple of years of doing this. And, our lobbyists spent a lot of time dialing me into that because, I was one of those guys at first too. Man, they came in and did an interview and only gave me, I was there for an hour and they gave me, a minute of talking time. And they didn't even air the important parts, and it's just kind of like one of those things. And then I had to learn over the time how to, be very quick to the point with my answers and not give them anything that they could twist.
Well, it's like you look at what Greg Connolly's been doing with how many news stations and TV stations he's been on. Because some of these interviews, he's been beat like they're hitting him, and it's crazy. Like they're just going to town on him, and they're not even giving him the opportunity to like defend himself. Or when he comes up with something, they're all three people interviewing him are like just going straight at him, like attacking him right afterwards. And just see him continuously get hit and then get back up, get hit again, get back up, and still make his point and still go out there and say the message that needs to be said, say the things that need to be said out there. It's phenomenal. He doesn't get flustered. He doesn't get flustered at all, ever. And, one of the best ones I've seen, it was him and Dr. Sanjay Gupta a couple weeks ago, and he just dropped the marijuana bomb on him. And he said, hey, you were wrong about marijuana. And it just kind of kept pushing him. Greg was Sunday morning. Greg was on C-SPAN. I don't know if you guys caught that interview. I woke up pretty early. It was in the morning. I woke up pretty early, so I decided to call in. And it was pretty funny. And I never said who I was other than my name. But I started rattling off some stats, and Greg kind of smiled a little bit. But it was pretty awesome. I had a couple people message me, "Man, was that you?" Oh, yeah. It was. I got to support Greg. You know what I mean? But he didn't need it, but I wanted to, go there and give him some extra fodder, at least from Ohio's point of view, as to how this bullshit story crap in the media is just absolutely ridiculous, And I rattled off some stats for Ohio. It's a $900 million a year economic impact. We have 650 vape businesses. We employ 7,000 people, and, we have over 500,000 vapors that vote. So, it's pretty important here. And, Trump, in the last election, won by, I think it was 515,000 votes. So we have 554,000 registered vapors that vote in Ohio. So that's a big impact. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, with people, some people don't really understand that if you lose one state, you could lose the election. Yep. By one state. It may not be. It may not be with as big as of an impact as, say, if you lost Texas or California or the states that just have the biggest amount of people there. But any kind of impact is going to be an impact, and it's going to do something to your numbers. So, absolutely. And it's just cool seeing all this, because with all the negative that's been happening in the news lately, we are seeing positive things come out of it too. With all the stuff that's been happening on the media, I've been seeing more and more that a lot of the stuff coming from the media isn't as negative anymore.
No.
That you're looking, they're coming out and saying, okay, why are these governors doing this? The CDC came out and said, the THC cartridges are doing this. And now people are starting to understand, wait, if the THC cartridges are doing this, why are they going after something completely different? It's causing that thought to go in people's heads that don't even vape, don't even smoke.
Yep. I mean, when we were in D.C. a couple weeks back with the VTA for our annual national conference, and we had our day on the Hill, We had 11 meetings, Ohio did, and we had 24 members in DC, 24 of our business members. I think we had 19 on us, or with us, 19 or 20 with us on the Hill. Some of them had to leave early. And we met with 5 congressmen that day out of the 11 meetings. The others were with staffers. But every one of the congressmen looked at us and told us, what's going on? Why are people blaming you and your industry for illegal THC products? It doesn't make sense. So they already knew what was going on. So it's not like, they already knew. They were telling us before we told them, which was great. We did have some things that were brought up to us as, they were very concerned about the youth usage issue and what we're doing to even improve it even more. So that was something we had to go back and talk about. And then also the other thing that we got talked a lot about was etiquette. And one of the congressmen specifically said he gets probably 2 calls a week from a constituent who walks in front of a vape shop to go into another store, and it's filled with clouds. And when they open the door, the clouds come rushing out. They're afraid they're going to get vapor, but it's an etiquette issue. Even though I know it's somebody's business, it's an etiquette issue. Just like whenever somebody's driving down the street and they're chucking huge clouds out their window, it's still an etiquette thing, and it makes us look that much worse, even though we're not doing anything wrong. But again, we need to mind our P's and Q's when we're in public with everybody else. We're at our house or whatever,
I mean, we're still at a state right now where we're still trying to get people informed, and it's getting better. It's slow. I've noticed the trend of more people getting informed and they want a better understanding of it. Even the people that don't smoke or vape or anything, they want a better understanding of this because it's something that will affect their life. Because they have family members who smoke. I'll probably say anybody has a family member that smokes cigarettes or something. That's how common it is. So people want to know this stuff because one way or another, it's going to affect them in a personal level.
And just think about this. If that one person that's teetering or their spouse is teetering and they see somebody blow a huge cloud, they're going to say, oh, is that what I have to do to vape? And they're going to probably say no. Or they look at the device and they walk into a shop and it's full of clouds and look at a device and look down and it looks like you have to be able to have a airline pilot's license to operate it. It might scare them away.
I mean, that's just irresponsible with shop ownership because most shops have great ventilation to where you have the fans on or the ventilation going. You won't have to worry about clouds or anything like that. The only thing you'll probably have to worry about is towards your feet. You'll see that slight haze. But that's
wiping off the windows every once in a while from the fog.
You're wiping off the winters in a vape shop are like the worst thing in existence.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, let's be realistic though. I mean, there was a time that, and it may still be that way in some states, that you could smoke cigarettes inside smoke shops. You can smoke cigars inside smoke shops.
Yep.
And nobody bats an eyelash at that. You can smoke in a hookah bar. I have a hookah bar in my downtown area. And when they open the doors, it's the same exact experience, but now it's smoke from the hookah and it's not vapor.
Yep.
And so, education has to be a big part of this because it's new technology to a lot of people. That's where this disconnect continues to come from, and them not understanding that there's a technology here being used in a multitude of ways. And depending on who uses that technology and how it's used depends on its level of risk to the end user.
Yeah, people don't know what they don't know, and they're afraid to learn something they don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people who are very placated these days. It's simple to get up, watch the news in the morning, go to work, come home, cook dinner, watch the news, go to bed.
Exactly. And all you see is, there's chemicals, there's metals, and vapor mist. Like, come on, stop. But that's what they're hearing. And they're not going to take the time to research it because they heard it from the news. So it's got to be true.
It's something that people have said that for years and years. People fear what they don't understand.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, going back to something else you had said a minute ago, sorry. I have ADD, so I jump around a lot.
You're good.
We were at that conference, and I was home watching the governor's press conference that he called the night before. And I tell you, there was 2 reporters in that room that were just bird dogging him. They were outside at our rally. They had taken good notes. I have interviewed with them before, and there was a couple other reporters in there that were questioning why they were blaming vapor and wanting to crack down on flavored vapor when this is clearly a THC issue. And then we had the other one just pounding about how are you going to force 90% of these consumers back to smoking cigarettes? You know, they're killing 480,000 people. I'm not telling this guy this. He is pounding them on it. And I'm just kind of sitting back and smiling, thinking, thank God. You know, and somebody was messaging me going, who's the vapor in the room that's a reporter? It's a reporter that actually does research and learns.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic, man.
When I was still managing the vape shop, we were fortunate to have a local newspaper in the same building that we operated out of, and we quickly befriended one of their reporters, and he actually became a customer of ours because when things got stressful, he, as a former smoker who quit through, you know, traditional means the first time, he knew that the facts were there. He read the facts. We gave him, you know, all the information. He was able to verify it, and he became an excellent ally. He would come running down, you know, when the New York Times broke that story about it being twice as effective as traditional NRTs. He came running down with a printout, like, here, leave this on the counter so that all your customers can see it. And I'm like, my man, you know, like those kind of relationships that can genuinely help us. And it's, you know, you don't have to be somebody like James Jarvis who, you know, is deeply entrenched. You could just be a passive, you know, consumer in your local vape shop and encounter the right person and strike up a conversation and start sending this knowledge out. I always say to people, each one teach one. And that is a perfect example of it.
Absolutely. You know, for me, I'm lucky to get to do what I do. You know, it's a lot of time, a lot of sacrifice. Yeah, my wife has to sacrifice a lot for me being gone, you know, and spending my own money to do this stuff. But it's because I love what I do. And when you love what you do, it's not work. It's passion. Mm-hmm. And that clearly showed through that Ohio has a lot of passion because we have 7 total board members that helped arrange that rally. We had 880 businesses and members in Ohio that helped make sure that rally went off without a hitch. We had, like I said, 5 states that were there that supported us, and they all have amazing state groups. You know, like I said, Kentucky, New York. We had Colorado. We had Maryland. We had Florida, Tennessee, Kentucky. You know, it's not just one person. It's all of us together, and we're one team. And you know, that's what I kind of talked about. You know, when I introduced the board, I said this isn't a one-person show. This is a group of 7 that are lucky enough to represent 180 of you out there. That's how it works.
And going back a little bit with all the better news that's been coming out there, just like you're seeing firsthand that good legislation is happening. Look what Utah just did. That is right? Absolutely fantastic. Mm-hmm. It might have been because the legislator was under like huge scrutiny of possibly losing his job, but the main one when people crack down on him for the kind of study he did.
Yeah,
I don't even want to get into that.
Study with test strips.
If that's all it took to test my stuff, just put it on piss strips, I would have done it a long time ago. Shit.
But I mean, that's the thing is that, you know, today, and I know a lot of people were sharing this one around Twitter. We had the actual acknowledgments from the Department of Health and their study showing that the nicotine products they tested were 100% safe. There was no vitamin E acetate, no nothing. And yet, lo and behold, those THC cartridges were all kinds of messed up, some of them having nicotine, you know, 89% showing the vitamin E acetate, 5% showing long-chain fatty acids. And, you know, at this point, we've got too many organizations who are now publishing this data to deny it.
Yep. And you know, even the FDA has tested nicotine liquids and have not found anything wrong with them. So at some point in time, they've got to come clean. Mm-hmm. CDC has to come clean. They have to be honest, because what's going on right now, the misinformation that they're putting out there is killing businesses. and literally killing people because people are still not using liquid nicotine products. They're still using THC products, and they're still dying, unfortunately. You know, in Ohio, this mass hysteria, this misrepresentation of what's going on has already killed 32 businesses.
I mean, these people are going to have to answer for the actions they've made. And it sucks me to say this, but I can't wait until like the time limit of these bans meets their end. They re-look at what the statistics are, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed, or it actually gets worse. So the one thing that you tried doing to fix the problem completely either made it worse or did nothing. What is your option now?
Right.
It's going to go to them and be like, okay, I hope it doesn't make them go to the extreme, but maybe it actually kind of opens their eyes a little bit. Maybe we're taking the wrong approach at this. It's just a shitty thing to where when this happens, there's already been hundreds of businesses that are out of business now that won't be able to come back and reopen. It's a shitty thing.
The question is, do they even care?
No, they don't.
They're going to get their MSA money back, or they're going to get more MSA money because I close.
Yeah. Oh, that's just a whole other thing. And then the Bloomberg thing that just drove me up a damn wall.
So we've got a lot of education to do in a short time, but most importantly, if you're a consumer and you're watching this show, go visit your vape shop. I don't care if you just stop in to say hi. Morale has been at an all-time low over the last 2 months. You've got customers that are contemplating closing. I'm even contemplating closing one of my stores just because it scared so many people off. But, we have got to, as a community, support one another, even if it's just to stop in and buy, a bottle of clearance liquid, or stop in to say hi. Is something, because they have killed us for no good reason other than their own greed.
Drip tip, man. $10, $15 drip tip.
I mean, if I'm coming to spend $5 bottle of clearance juice, or liquid, sorry, I get mad when people say juice, and I just said it.
I say it too, don't
worry. Or a 30 ml bottle of $5 of clearance e-liquid. I mean, but just go in and stop in and see your shop. Even if you've never shopped there, just stop in and say hi. Hey, man, I really hate what's going on. I wanted to come in and let you know that, thinking about you guys, we're supporting you.
Absolutely.
I mean, yesterday was D-Day in Michigan, so
yeah.
And just look at all
and check in on your fellow vapors around the community. Make sure that if anybody's in a state that's hurting, if they need help, and you're in a position to help them, do so.
Absolutely.
That's what community is all about, and that's what has genuinely been a big part of so many of us continuing to follow this lifestyle and this technology and this whole way of life now. Is there's a community here, and we as a community care.
Absolutely.
So make sure you're taking care of your fellow man. We all know how to spot the rat who's trying to just weasel something out of somebody. But if you got a genuine individual amongst you who is in a state that is hurting, and you can help, I urge you to do so. It only takes a few minutes of your time to go bring a package down to your local post office and mail it out. And for a few bucks, you could genuinely make a huge impact on somebody's life. And
man,
that feels great.
Stop in and take them lunch.
Yeah.
Whatever. Buy them a coffee, take it in. Buy them a Coke. Buy them a water.
Something that boosts their morale is what is.
Absolutely. It's hard right now, and
it is.
There's people in Massachusetts. You guys, I mean, I'm absolutely just beside myself for what's going on there. Delaware, New York, Michigan. Thank God we've got Washington State. Thank God we've got a group that is out rallying business members to sue these states. It's what it is, man. And I'm telling you, I feel very fortunate, even though I know we're under some issues here in Ohio with this flavor ban bill that's been introduced. But we have got roughly 180 members strong in our association, and we've got a lot of good people that come up to support us. But just take a second if you haven't been into your vape shop in a while, and just stop in. Take them a coffee, take them a soda, take them a sandwich, whatever. Just go in and say hi.
Boosting the morale is what is another thing that will help. Like what you were saying, boosting morale can do so much.
Yep.
Because then that motivates them, and then even it's crazy how you can motivate somebody by just putting food in their stomach. But it's a great thing. It shows compassion. It shows genuine people. It really does.
Absolutely.
And that's what people need right now. In these states like Michigan, who some of them are barely open right now.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday we had over 400 people in that rally, and I tried to go by and shake everybody's hand and give everybody a hug and say hi. I missed a few because of media and stuff, but I tried. I tried to at least say hi to every single person that was there. And, it was 95 degrees. I'm in a suit. Sun's beating down on me. Thank God my wife brought me some water. But, I mean, I still tried. And I got home, and I could wring my shirt out. It was so wet from sweat. But I tried to make an effort to at least say hi to everybody because I know that, they didn't have to come.
No, they took a day off their work. Some of them took a day off and not even getting paid.
Yep. And exactly. And that's unfortunately that's advocacy every day. But I mean, but the business side of things, they didn't get paid for that. And it meant a lot to me to try to go by and at least say hi to everybody and thank them for coming and showing them appreciation for being there. I'm just a lucky guy that gets to drive the bus, so to speak, every once in a while, and and I enjoy what I do.
So with all that in mind, tomorrow Massachusetts has a bit of a rally going, and I haven't heard much in the way of organization in the way that you guys had yours organized. And so, people have asked me for advice. I'd like to ask you, is there any advice that you'd like to share with people who might be the first time activists going to this kind of thing?
Yeah. Kind of following what we put out there in Ohio. If you're going to go and you must vape, take a stealth device, walk out to the sidewalk and vape. Do not vape right where the cameras are, for one. Two, do not take signs that have vulgar language toward any of the candidates. Do not have any signs that have anything remotely pointed toward a candidate at all. Your issue is you're a one-issue voter. Flavor saved your life. You vape, you vote. Mango. There was one of the other signs I saw the other day. Mango is not criminal. I think is what it says. Something along those lines. Signs like that. And then go together in groups. That's the other thing. And when it's time to cheer, you'll know. And when it's time to chant, you'll know. These are not protests. These are rallies. There's a big difference.
I want to kind of backpedal a little bit to something that happened a few weeks ago that I finally get to talk to somebody who was actually there. And so if people don't know, the VTA had their annual conference in Washington, and I want to touch on that a little bit because that was a huge motivation for me, especially seeing that picture of everybody on the hill was holy crap. That's like what this industry is striving to do right now. So I want to kind of pick your brain on what actually happened during that conference. What would you say some of the key things that you got out of that either changed your opinion on something or kind of opened your eyes on something?
So the keynote speaker, Dr. Michael Siegel, amazing. The CDC trained doctor. He laid it out on the line, and he's done that for years. I've actually used both of Dr. Siegel's research and Dr. Rodu's research in previous testimonies that I've given at the State House and in city councils. So I was very familiar with both of them, but to see them both get to speak in person and really break down this hysteria, I think Dr. Rodu had talked about it, the number of youth that are vaping, according to the youth survey that he's seen, 600,000 of them were over the age of 18 or over. And the other 2.3 million or whatever were already using other tobacco products. So you can't really say that there's a youth epidemic when they were already using or are of legal age to be using these products. So, that was pretty interesting to read. And he had also talked about some of the questions that weren't there before, that were put there this time. That kind of steered the results, if you will. So that was both of those speakers were pretty flippin' awesome. To hear what was going on in the States as an overview, the lawsuit that VTA has against the FDA, we got a real deep dive into what was going on there. And then just getting to be around so many of people that are going through the same exact thing you're going through, wondering if they're going to wake up tomorrow and is this the day. But knowing that we've got a group like VTA out there leading the way, we've got folks like Greg Conley out there bulldogging interviews. We've got people like Americans for Tax Reform, Paul Blair, Grover Norquist out there really fighting for this industry. They're not even related to the industry, but they see what's going on, I
mean, you see people like the guys from Regulator Watch.
Exactly. Brett Stafford, it was amazing. It was an amazing 3 days, but nothing that we did on those first 2 days compares to what you get to do when you're on the Hill. You get up in your groups, and we were very fortunate to have the largest group up there along with Tennessee. And, they were trying to kind of grouping up a couple different states together with their folks.
Yeah, they had like the Midwest group and all that.
And one lobbyist, right? Well, our lobbyist, she knows her way around D.C. pretty well because, again, she's been around for a little while in the field of lobbying, even though she's from Ohio. She led our group, all 11 meetings, and just bam, 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 bam. She kept us all going, and she let us lead conversations with all the legislators. When we had meetings with staffers, she would only want 4 or 5 of us in the room at a time because sometimes those offices are smaller than actually getting to meet with the congressmen themselves. And it's always going to be the people that are in the district first are the first priority, and then myself, and then if there's somebody else that wants to go. And then she's following up with them on stuff that we had talked about to make sure that what we had talked about, the issues that we both might have had that maybe need to follow up, and then try to get them to come into vape shop whenever they're back in their districts. I know there's one I'm going to be going to here real soon whenever they break to go visit him in his district at a specific store because I want him to see the other side, not what he was being told was going on. I want him to see the other side. And that specific congressman was a state senator, 2 for the last 4 years in Ohio. The congressman whose area he took over stepped down midterm. He was elected to Congress through a special election, and he remembered me from Ohio. When I walked in, he looked around. He goes, "Wow, last time I met you, it was just you." He goes, "Where were you arresting you guys when this guy was back with sword carrying the state?" Kind of being funny about it, but he had some great conversation, and he really told us, he was a dipper, and he's been chewing, he's been using the Zen pouch or one of those snooze things, and he said, "Man, you guys are lucky. I wish we had more flavors than just tobacco, mint, and menthol, and coffee." So it was just kind of funny that he even seen what we were talking about, and then we go to our first meeting of the morning. All 20 of us went into the office because he's one of he's been around a little while. He's got some clout. And we're all sitting around and he's looking at all of us, just kind of smiling and introducing. He looks at me and says, "You're not allowed to talk."
I've already heard from you.
Yeah, well, he's been in my store, in one of my stores in Hilliard. But he sat there and answered every question. And he said, "Hey, let's all take a picture together." And then the last meeting of the day that we had with the congressman, he made me sit next to him. He's like, "You're going to sit right here. I'm going to watch you." And he'll start talking. He would step on my foot. It was just kind of funny little things that he would do. Again, probably one of the most charismatic congressmen I've ever met with. His name is Bob Gibbs. He's just fantastic. And he's one of those ones, another one that wanted to make sure everybody was included. And he wanted a picture with everybody when he was done. He actually signed a letter to send to the FDA for the second time for us that we've been there. So just awesome. It was just an awesome thing. If you've never had the opportunity to go meet with your congressman, I encourage you to do it. They are not evil people. They are not mean people. They want to know. I mean, they're going to listen to the constituent before they listen to some jackass like me that represents the state. Because
they're just not informed. That's the thing about it. They don't know.
They are informed. And I learned that in DC because they were telling us what the problem was. Not us going and saying, hey, this is illegal THC. They knew what the problem was.
Uh-huh.
You know, so they're not misinformed. I think they just don't see the urgency sometimes because they're not hearing from the people.
Okay.
And that's my biggest thing, you know, and I say it all the time. They love their constituents, and if they know they're going to get a vote, they're going to listen to you. And if you continue to build a relationship with them, you get invited to certain breakfast events, you know, whatever. Sometimes you get to go down to DC and have coffee with the constituent, like I've done a few times with Senator Portman. The more you build that relationship with, don't be afraid of them. They're just somebody that's elected to represent, you know, but they have to represent you. That's the thing, and they want to make their constituents happy because they want a good rating. They want to be reelected, right? Mm-hmm. So in order for them to know that there's a problem, it takes more than one person to call. And if that's any advice I can give anybody watching, it takes more than one person to make a phone call. And they would rather be a constituent that lives in their district than some guy that represents the state association, because that constituency means votes to them.
Because they know that this person's doing this as their job. This is something that they do on a daily basis, talking to people. They're at least the state house at least once a week. They want to hear from the people who have nothing to do with any kind of organization. They want to hear just the average Joe Schmo right off the street.
Exactly.
That's what they want to hear.
Exactly. I mean, I can sit here and give testimony in every legislative meeting in Ohio. At some point, they're going to get sick of me.
Yeah.
And
they're going to be tired of hearing from one person. They want to hear from the masses.
Right. I mean, they're still going to hear from me.
Well, yeah. There's no stopping that.
They're going to get to hear other people, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. We need more than just one body speaking. We need multiple bodies speaking. And my favorite saying is, what's the one way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? We need a lot of bites. And that's kind of what we're looking for. I see my buddy Paul just popped in here. LabWorks.
Yep. Paul.
Yeah. Paul,
yep,
yeah.
I'm surprised he's not coming here talking about food. God damn it, Paul.
Or beer. It's normally our conversations about beer.
He's either coming in here mentioning something about how he wants tacos or burgers or something. Like, shut up, Paul, I'm hungry.
Fucking. He had a really...
Yep. What happened?
He had a piece on the other day. I think I saw it. He had done with Current Affair, I think it was, over there in Australia. It was good.
Yeah, LabWorks is a great dude. We've gotten to know him pretty well throughout our our adventures through YouTube and advocacy stuff, and the things he's doing behind the scenes over in South Australia is phenomenal.
Yep.
The moves he's taken, because this is his livelihood. You could tell I have nothing but respect for Paul. You're fighting the good fight over there. It just sucks that they're the kind of people that just won't listen no matter how many people how many testimonies you hear, how many people say something. They're kind of set in their ways, and it's shit.
Right. I just saw he put something on there. It's a hashtag that we use over here. Hashtag Win the Day. That was started by my buddy Nick Orlando from Florida Smoke Free. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Nick or met Nick. He is vice president of Florida Smoke Free. Just an amazing person. He's probably one of my closest friends in this industry. I spend a lot of time with him. If there's somebody else you want to follow in this industry, follow Nick. I cannot remember his Twitter, but if you go in there and put Nick Orlando on Twitter, you'll find him. He's one of my friends on Twitter. Just a great guy, just as genuine as they come in this industry. He cares. His heart's in the right place. It's all about passion. He's just an amazing person. You know, we had a conference here in Ohio, our first ever association conference back in April, and he flew up, and I invited him up to speak. And man, what a just a great guy. You know, amazing people. Like you said before, there's so much community in this industry. You got people like Nick, Jeff Kathman, who's in our association, Jay Taylor out of Virginia, and Matt Milby, Elmer Bailey. You know, she's Stacy Hamilton, Nicole from Tennessee, Nicole Crumley.
Yeah, you mentioned R.D. Smith, and then of course, like some of my Northeast guys up here. You got John Nathan and Steven Saber and Alex Moody and Alex Kopax. And
so many amazing people. You know, you got Figgy out there, just keeps driving the bus, and And you got from Naked, just another amazing guy. You know.
Yeah,
you guys on the West Coast that are doing just as much. Like you got Matt Colley, who's doing a fantastic job of what he's doing.
First time I ever got to meet him was in DC.
Amazing
awesome
person.
Guy. Yep, awesome
he
guy.
is one of the nicest people I've ever got the chance to meet.
He's tall too. Oh my god.
Oh, he's a monster. Mm-hmm. I remember because I saw him at ECC 2 years ago in California, and then I saw him at MVE in Connecticut, and he recognized me. He's like, "Oh, what's going on?" He gave me a hug. I was like, "Whoa!" I always forget how tall you damn are.
I got to bring my steps.
I forgot my damn step stool to reach you.
Just an awesome people. So many awesome people in this industry.
It's like talking to those people and actually being able to have conversation with them. It kind of boosts your motivation to continue to do stuff, and it helps you continue to keep fighting. It's like I know people are going to hit their roadblocks in front of them. It's an everyday thing. It's part of being human. It's part without getting discouraged, getting depressed. It's going to happen.
Yep, you can't let it. Because we're on the right side of this. We're on the right side of good here.
We're on the right side of progress.
Yep.
And eventually,
I'm telling you, it's just going to take one win. One win is going to start a trend.
Right.
You know, yesterday
and the win's already happening.
In Ohio. Yesterday was an amazing day in Ohio. Hopefully that starts a trend.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever. You know, hopefully we beat this flavor ban, whatever it's all said and done down the road, and we could be one of the ones that was just one more good thing that happened. You know, but we have got an amazing group of people here. We really do. Our entire board, Mr. Frank Cahall. I don't know if you guys know Frank. He's been in the industry about as long as I have. He's our vice president. The guy is all about advocacy. Unfortunately, he's been a little bit under the weather. He was unable to make it yesterday. Talked to him this morning. He's doing much better. He's just another one of those guys that just knows so much and so many. And his story, is different than my story and different from your story. You know, Frank's story. 9 years ago, he told he was going to die. And he went, found a blue e-cig, used it, was able to quit smoking. You know, he no longer has COPD. He's lost like 140 pounds. His lungs are clear. It's an amazing story. In my story, I never smoked. I got in this industry because I lost my grandmother at 16 to lung cancer. I was given this opportunity by a friend of mine to help him with a company that he started up in 2008. And I saw what it did for him. I saw what it did for people that we started selling the little Cigalike first generation starter kits to. Then when he opened a store, I opened a store about 6 months later, and it was just game on. You know, and then I took it upon myself to start meeting with legislators, and then realized there was an Ohio trade group. So I mean, it's contagious what we do. It's passionate, and you know, don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let them do it because that means they won. That means they've won.
And then this kind of positivity and all the stuff that's going on can be used in different avenues, different industries, all that kind of thing. Positivity is contagious. It really is.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you try to look at it with all the good things happening, you can't help but apply it into different things in your life. Yep. And it just betters your life in general, and it betters the people around you. It betters everything. And it's crazy how...
The bad news will piss you off for a second, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news keeps you motivated for a lifetime. And I said, we got to find one little nugget of goodness in every down day. And, you know, we found one yesterday. We'll find one. There was one today. I'm sure there'll be one tomorrow. One today was the Utah thing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, tomorrow there'll be a better one. The next day there'll be another one. We just can't.
And hopefully tomorrow we can talk about the positive things that happen in Massachusetts.
Right.
I hope so.
Yeah, you can't just give up because one bad thing happened. And there's a bug flying around. You've got to continue to find the one good and let that continue to motivate you and share that one story, because you don't know how many people that one story will affect. I know it's the last time you played the telephone game, but last time you played a telephone game, right? You started off and you had a pink shirt. Next time you had a pink shirt with a wrinkle, and then you had a pink shirt with a stripe and a wrinkle. That's the way we need to go with positivity. Because if we do that with negativity, the industry will be shut down tomorrow. And that's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? We've got to find the positives and make our own story and really put it out there.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, I think...
I don't know if I talked your ear off enough, but...
No, this has been great.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
Amazing. I think we're going to call it here. I'd like to thank Greg. James, what the hell am I... It's been a long day.
He's got advocacy and activism on the brain. He's like, all right, who's next? All right, can I get Greg Connolly? How am I going to get Greg Connolly?
Greg, James. Yeah. Well, I was saying.
I mean, I guess there's worse people he could have called you.
Right.
This is true. I'll keep my mouth shut on that.
James, I'd like to thank you so much for everything you do.
Hey.
And thank you for coming on here. Is there any last words you want to tell people in chat before we head out?
Things. Yeah, if you want to learn more about OHVTA, you can go to ohvta.com. You want to hit us up on Twitter, it's at Ohio Vaping. Facebook, it's just Ohio Vapor Trade Association. I would highly encourage anybody that's on this broadcast tonight to tune into the Vaping Legion show tonight. They're going to talk a lot about the DC route. So I'd say tune into that. It should be a good show.
Definitely. Sean, you want to hit him with it?
You already know, guys. I'm super proud of everybody for all the hard work you've been doing, and I want you guys to keep up the good work. It means so much, and as you've heard tonight, it's really effective. So keep being loud, keep being vocal, keep making the phone calls, writing the letters, doing what you do, because all of it adds up. Beyond all that, you know what I'm going to tell you, right? Keep giving the bastards hell. Don't let the bastards get you down. Remember to be cool. Don't be a dick. And, of course, let's keep fighting so we can keep it cloudy.
Hell yeah.
Damn right, guys. Well, on that note, guys, hope you all have a fantastic night. Have a fantastic rest of your week. And got a little bit of surprise for you guys this Saturday. Should I just tell them? Should I tell him?
Yeah, I mean, you got to start pushing this information out now.
So
it's too big.
What's Your Story is coming back, and it's coming back with a blast. I am gonna have none other than one of the people I look up to most in this industry, Mr. Nick Green himself, on What's Your Story, and I'm gonna be joined and happily, graciously. He's going to be with two other individuals.
Yeah, it's going to be an invasion.
It's going to be an invasion of the squad, because not only am I having Grim Green on, I am having Dwayne Homeboy OC and Kent Twisted Messes himself going to be on What's Your Story. So It's going to be a threefer. So it's going to be a lot of shit going down, and it might be a shit show. I don't know. It's going to kind of get out of control at times, but it's going to be fun, and I'm excited. So stay tuned for that on Saturday, and we'll see you all next Wednesday, hopefully bringing up some good news. So Remember, everybody, just keep on fighting. That's all we can do.
Keep smiling.
You guys have a fantastic rest of your night.
Yes, like James just said, keep smiling.
Absolutely.
Damn right. See ya.